Welcome back once more, Canonites. Last week, 343 gave us another look at the upcoming Halo TV series, following up their first Silver Debrief. Comparatively lighter contrasted to its predecessor, the article is nonetheless an interesting read. Much of the early parts talk about the Season 2 announcement and recent coverage from the IGN FanFest, the latter of which I've already covered here. You can also find that linked in the description box below. The article also features a piece from 343's Kiki Wolfkill going into the decision to have Master Chief remove his helmet in the show, which I encourage anyone who dislikes this decision to give a read. Maybe it won't change your mind on the matter, but you can at least understand where 343 is coming from. I could spend a bunch of time breaking down this point, but it's pretty much moot as far as I can see. Either you're going to be okay with this decision by now, or you aren't, but in either case, the idea that the show will fail or is somehow not Halo because the Chief takes his helmet off is patently ridiculous, to say the least. You don't have to like the decision, but if it bothers you, it's probably best just to ignore the show. Now then, let's move on to the main body of the article, where 343 gives us some insight into the show's settings, characters, and more. First, we have this now familiar establishing shot, which turns out to be a city on the colony of Madrigal. Once a rich urban hub, the city has slowly withered away due to a combination of infighting among local factions and the collapse of several trade routes due to the Covenant War. Covenant supply lines have certainly been targets for UNSC forces in previous Halo stories, and the books have addressed stuff like slipspace lanes, but I don't think trade has ever been much of a focus in Halo, or even the larger economic impact of the war and collapse of the outer colonies. Colonies depended upon, in many cases, for resources and food. Again, this does get touched on in core canon, but usually just through implication or a few mentions, rather than being directly addressed. If the TV show can take a more direct approach on these subjects, I'm all for it. Next, we get some additional details on how the show will approach the Brock armor mechanism that helps Spartans suit up. First appearing in Spartan Ops in Halo 4, the mechanism is largely seen as a post-war development in core canon. The article notes that the hero Brock Bay, seemingly the one seen in this shot, are practical set pieces that are, quote, surprisingly functional. I hope we get a behind-the-scenes look at this thing at some point. After that, the article touches on how the show will approach the elites. While there's some blatantly obvious H2A influence here, there is more to these elites, starting with their armor. The armor seen in the trailer is but one variant present in the show, though designed to work better with the conditions of a TV production. And while we'll see more, 343 also notes that the brighter colors of the games have been toned down to match the mood the show is going for. While I enjoy the armor seen in this trailer, I do hope that the colors of other ranks, minors and majors especially, aren't too toned down. To me, a big part of Halo is its often saturated color palette, and I would not want to see that lost entirely. Back to the elites though, in addition to everything we've already discussed, it seems the production team for the show worked with experts to examine the elites and create a, quote, more robust and complete Sangheili language which reflected their actual physiology. I don't know about y'all, but that shit right there has me hyped. Like, regardless of the rest of the show, if we get a fleshed out Sangheili language from it, I'll be ecstatic. Next up, the article talks a bit about the Forerunner ruins seen in the show. Along with revealing that they take inspiration from the H2A maps Shrine and Warlord, gotta love that mix of Forerunner tech and natural looking surroundings, the show will be set in a period when the UNSC have almost no knowledge of the Forerunners, or at least very limited knowledge. I think most lore fans figured on this detail, but there's your confirmation. And now we come to Cortana. The article confirms that her appearance is based on Natasha McElhone, the actress portraying Dr. Halsey, something I wasn't entirely sure about when I first saw this Cortana. While I still can't say I'm excited about the character, I do like what the article tells us about her and how the show will use her. As most fans are aware, Cortana wasn't created simply to be the Master Chief's partner. Additionally, her creation was a major violation of UNSC law, arguably on the same level as the Spartan 2 program, both involving the illegal cloning of humans. The show will explore these details to a greater degree, according to the article. As the article winds down, it touches a bit on the Gladius-class Corvette and SDV Corvette seen in the recent trailer, and the Lekgolo, aka the eel-like creatures that make up hunters, seen working alongside Maquis. After that though, the second Silver Debrief comes to a close. We're less than a month away from the Halo TV series, which premieres on March 24th. As usual, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. This has been Halo Canon, stick around for that Patreon shoutout, and I'll see you all next time. First, I'd like to give a big thank you to our Horospus patrons. First, there's Hope, then we have Freight, Discombobulated Sycophant, Justin Montgomery, Man in the Dark, Keisha Dila, Daddy Anarchy, Great Scott Productions, Jumpy Sucks Balls, Ever Corrado, and Bumbling Fool 912 Paul K. Thank you all for your amazing support of the channel. Next, I'd like to thank our theoretical patrons. If you'd like to see your name here or get a direct shout out, check out patreon.com/HaloCanon. You can simply support the channel or get additional benefits, such as behind the scenes materials, including raw audio for upcoming videos, or even shout outs like this. All patrons now get early access to certain videos as well, and your Patreon title will appear in the Halo Canon Discord. However, your continued viewership is more than enough for me. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up, and maybe even subscribing to the channel if you aren't already. If you really enjoy my stuff, turn on that notification bell so you can be among the first to see new videos when they release. But for all my fellow Canonites, keep on being awesome.